Well, a group of Republican senators have sent Mitch McConnell a letter urging the majority leader to cancel the annual August recess. According to the Washington Post, which has seen that letter, the group says the Senate needs extra time due to, quote, historic obstruction by Democrats. With us now, let's bring in one of the senators who signed that letter, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. Senator, what in the world are you thinking working in August? Senators aren't supposed to do that.
Senators absolutely work in August. Typically, we work in our home states, if you will. On this case, I think we are saying maybe we need to work in Washington, D.C. There's been reports checked out. The president has claimed, rightly so, that at this rate he'll finish appointing everybody he needs to appoint in 9 years. We need to accelerate that. We need those folks appointed as soon as possible.
You guys want to cancel the recess?
If that's what's required. The recess, again, I go back home and have town hall meetings and meet with folks, et cetera, et cetera. It's very important. But on the other hand, if we're going to take 9 years to fill all these political positions that the president appoints, we need to have that done more quickly. He needs to be able to execute his agenda. I'm going to something about lowering drug costs today. He needs the appointees to help lower those drug costs. Let's get it done.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about is obviously there's a little bit of the most kind of controversial thing on actually happening on the Senate side of Capitol Hill this week was the Gina Haspel confirmation hearings. I know you're not on that. I don't believe you're on that committee, but I know it's going to be in front of you pretty soon to make a decision. I believe you're for her, but what do you think the dynamics are in terms of her fate? It seems like it's going to be a pretty close vote. And do you think that she got done what she needed to do in that committee hearing to get herself over the line?
I think she has. I was in a Republican conference yesterday, and senators, one or two, stood up and said, I was undecided. I heard her testify, and now I am for her. I think we've seen some Democrats come to the same conclusion. And I might point out, I reviewed the classified material that the CIA provided, and a timeline of her employment, the degree of her involvement in various things, she's an incredibly compelling person. Right. And when you see that, you understand that I think the objections to her are overstated.
Well, one person who disagrees with you, obviously, is Senator McCain, who, as I think you would acknowledge, has a kind of different kind of moral force on these kinds of questions, given his history, and obviously he came out to somewhat to people's surprise and decided and denounced that he was going to be against her. So do you think that his position on this is going to have any kind of significant consequence either for members of your caucus or giving cover to others who might be on the fence, and now that McCain's going the way he's going, that they want to just make sure they're with the senator from Arizona, the senior senator?
I can't speak for others, but I can speak for myself. I look at those who voted for John Brennan, and John Brennan was number 4 in the CIA when the things that folks object to about Gina Haspel were put into place. He helped come up with a policy that was then implemented. I think 36 or something like that Democrats voted for John Brennan when Obama nominated him, who clearly was more involved in this decision-making than was Gina Haspel. And those are some of the same folks now objecting to Gina Haspel. I don't quite get that, can't square it, but the way, for their sake, but for my sake, I say, listen, I think that she is qualified. I think she has a moral compass, definitely think that, and I think she'll keep our country safe, which is incredibly important to us all.
Senator, just to switch topics a little bit, the president's coming out with his drug pricing proposal today. Have you seen that or have any comment on it yet?
I saw an embargoed copy, but it still didn't give detail, but I do have comments. You kind of get hints as to what he might be doing. I'm big into price transparency. How do we use that to lower drug costs? One thing they've spoken of is these rebates that are negotiated by pharmacy benefit managers from pharmaceutical companies are not going to the patient when she's in her deductible. She's paying the non-rebated price. And when she overpays, the rebate amount goes either to the pharmacy benefit manager or back to the insurance company. I could see them changing that, and I think that's a very good thing.
All right, Senator Bill Cassidy, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you being here. Good luck keeping everybody in Washington in August.